What's going on, guys? It's Novell J. Lee here at The Buzz at Buzzworthy Radio. We are kicking off Hotel Cocaine Week by speaking with Don Mike, who plays the role of Omar on the MGM Plus series. We got to talk to him about landing the role and filming in the Dominican Republic, but there was a piece of information that we came across yesterday that we dove into in this show, and I don't want to give too much away, but it was very interesting how it ties back into an interview I did with the show's creator, Chris Brancato. So stay tuned for that. But I enjoy talking with Don about the show and hopefully what we are able to see with a potential backstory for Omar's character if and when the show does get picked up for a season two. So please enjoy our interview with Don Mike. Check it out. Don Mike is joining me here on the bus. Thank you so much for coming by and speaking with me. I mean, it's an absolute pleasure. I fell in love with Hotel Cocaine since Up One, so being able to talk to you about this show and being a part of the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So you got to go to the Los Angeles premiere of the show. Just what was it? Maybe 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
Just about, yeah, just about.
Let me ask you about that. How was that? Because just seeing everybody on the red carpet and promoting the show and talking about the show and just being around everybody that wants to talk about the show and supporting you guys, what was that experience like for you being there?
It was incredible. It was festive. It was flashy, of course, with all the outfits. Almost, yeah, it was almost like a little, um, like a side. What's the word I'm looking for? Uh,
I mean, it definitely played to the theme of the show with how everybody was dressed. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. It's almost like a Hotel Cocaine kind of side little extra piece. You know, back in the day they had DVDs that had the little
Yeah.
extra scenes. So it kind of felt like that a little bit too. Just everybody was in the same space. We all got reunited, most of us, because some of the cast couldn't make it
Mhm.
because working on other projects, which are good problems to have. But it
Of
was beautiful.
course.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was great to see the first episode on a big screen
Hmm.
with a lot of the producers there. It just brought everything home.
The soundtrack to the show obviously is on fire. I mean, the show takes place in 1979, 1978, basically almost to the 80s anyway, and it's just I'm just amazed at the music that they're able to use for the show, as well as characters that they're able to incorporate into the show, while those celebrity personas were in episodes, they don't dominate the episodes, which I like. They're integral to the story, and I love that aspect about it. One of the comments I said to Mark Feuerstein, who plays Burton on the show, and how his character was the inspiration, which now just aired, of Rick James's Super Freak. I just thought that was absolutely hilarious that they were able to tell it in that way and be like, my character is the inspiration for this song. I think that was great to the show, but I think honestly and I'm not ashamed of saying it, but I say it all the time. I think honestly the theme song is what roped me into the show.
Oh, the Swiss Beats joint?
Yes.
It's fly, right?
Yeah. Oh, dude,
Wow.
I heard it when I first got it, and I screened it before it aired, and I heard the song, and then I found out it was Swiss Beats who was behind it. I said, "Yo, this dude!" I was like, I need a full MP3 of it. I need the jam right now so I can download it because this is fire, legit fire. And I'm so mad that when Chris told me the story of how he got him to do the song, it's now lost. Because it was such a great story of how that came to be, on how he got him to do the theme song. But man, oh man, it just fits the tone of the show. And Omar seems to be a really good right-hand man for Roman. What can
Yeah.
we?
Just quickly before you get to that, did you mean that when Chris told you the story, you had like you recorded it, but you
I did.
lost the recording?
I did. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what you meant. Okay, okay, gotcha. Dang,
Yeah.
that would be a cool little piece to have.
I don't know. It literally it was recording, and then we noticed that the camera shut off. So then I went back, but I saw like it was recording, and then when I went into it to do the edits, it literally lost it. It malfunctioned. I was like, no, and then I was like, and it was, oh man. that
Yeah.
still to this day burns my heart.
Dang, dang. Okay, maybe at the season 2 premiere, you'll get to meet Swizzy and get the exclusive. You know,
Never say never. I literally
right,
am hoping that happens for sure. And
right.
yes, so speaking
The
of which,
Omar, yeah.
yeah, speaking of which, with Omar, let's talk about the character of Omar and his relationship with Roman and the mutiny and pretty much everybody. It just seems like he definitely fits that 70s mold of swag. I mean, honestly, from what I've seen. So,
Yeah, Omar, I describe Omar as the cool cat in the car, the cool cat in the cut. He's he's got the 70s drip going. He's
yep.
street smart, he's savvy, he knows all the movers and shakers, he knows all the cartel, all the cartel dealers and all the heavy hitters and all the movers and shakers. But most the ways in which you get to see him in the show is him putting out metaphorical fires. There's not enough Dom P. So and so cartels are getting into
Hmm.
a fight. So kind of reporting things to Roman. And then in episode 4, you kind of get to see him checking in on his man to make sure everything's cool because
Yeah.
he's not it's not moving the way he usually moves. He usually moves. So
Yeah.
yeah, Omar's in some sense Omar's the glue helping to keep things together at the mutiny because there's a lot of debauchery, it's a lot of crazy things going on.
There's a lot of crazy things going on. I mean, listen, obviously the club itself looks great from how you're looking at it on the screen with the Mutiny Girls and how everything's coming together with Janice and whatnot. But I will say, as you just said about episode 4, it does take a turn. It definitely takes a turn than what we just seen in the last 3. So it's really about to get so heavy that I'm now sitting here wondering how's Omar going to fit into this entire thing? Because when I just said it at the beginning, Roman literally, he's now at a point where he can't even go back to do what he was originally planning on doing in the first place was to, in essence, bring his brother down for the DEA. Now it's like, spoiler alert for those of you who are listening and watching this. There's a point of no return for Roman at this point, and now I'm just kind of sitting here wondering, where's Omar gonna go? Where is this gonna take him?
That's kind of TBD to be
Yeah.
decided. Um, as the series goes on, you'll get to see all the events that unravel. Omar is not a huge part of those the major plot line and the subplots as well. Omar's mainly seen at the mutiny.
Hmm.
Has been talks about expanding that if there's a season 2, if that's guaranteed, seeing what Omar's backstory could look like
Okay.
and some of the things he might be doing outside of the mutiny because he's only seen at the mutiny pretty much.
Right. Right.
So there's been talks. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what the team wants to do. But hey, I'm open to whatever suggestions they throw my way.
Do you have any not preconceived notions, but do you have anything that you would like to see Omar's backstory be about? Like, where would you see him? Like, where would you like to see him come up to where? Because my thing is like, I definitely want to see how wherever he was prior to the mutiny, how did he get involved in being a part of the mutiny?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, I don't know. In the script, Omar was first introduced as being Afro-Cuban. So I thought, hey, maybe we can season 2, we can expand on that and see if he is indeed Afro-Cuban. Because
Sure.
I spoke to Chris about that. I don't know if he was necessarily married to that idea, but I thought it would be cool to explore, like, well, what does this backstory look like coming in from Cuba to the States? Especially with the intersectionality of him being black too. Like
Hmm.
that's unexplored territory, that specific intersectionality. I know recently there's been a whole wave of recognition with the various Afro-Latinos community in the States,
Yeah.
Afro-Latino communities in the States, more recognition of their Afro roots and celebrating their heritage and celebrating what the African descendants contributed to what is now known as Latin American culture, whether it's salsa music or
Hmm.
various things like that. So I'm not sure what that's going to look like. I'm not sure how they'll be able to fit Omar into into that storyline to make sure it's not just, it's not just there to be there. It actually carries weight and it
Yeah.
carries the show forward. But like I said, that'd be a cool angle to visit. Whatever the team wants to do, if they see this, let's talk, let's have a conversation. I'm happy to unpack.
That would be a very interesting story to play because, as you just said, with Afro-Cuban, the character of Omar being Afro-Cuban, and another comment I made is like I love the fact that this show is showcasing forth like the Latina community in this and going between the languages on the show. I think it's absolutely I love that aspect about it and in this show. So I want to see that somehow intertwined in this story and just explore that. I think that would be interesting story to tell, especially for the time that this takes place.
And
Uh,
this is
because it still takes place in 1978 and it's I hate saying that it was still in a time but let me correct that we can say that about this now during the present, but it took place in a time where, you're seeing people of color not really fully accepted yet, especially in those types of positions. And this is the type of positions we're seeing them in. So I definitely think that this is a really great story to tell. And I think Chris and Maurice Conti would be able to tell that story in such a way where it's not insulting to the viewer. So I think that would be a very great story to tell. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and building upon that too, I think there's connective tissue because 1978, that's so season two would probably take us to 1979 or 1980. And
right.
1980 was one of the biggest race riots in the States, right? Before rioting
Hmm.
in LA, there was I think like an insurance salesman who he got either killed by the police or, brutally beaten down, and the police got acquitted, and half the city burnt down. If you've talked to Danny, he'll tell you about this because I think at the time he was a child and he was aware of what was going on.
Sure.
So it was a very big moment at the time, and some of those issues are still persisting.
It's very prevalent even to this day. So
Yeah,
I think that's the mirroring effect of being able to see it in that timepiece, but yet somehow when you're looking at, even though it's dating back to around 1980, you're looking at it and it's going like, well, this is literally the story that we're seeing today. So it's so prevalent to tell that story. So I'm kind of hoping that we do get to go in that direction. If and when we do hear news about it being a season two, it's definitely a great story to tell. And like I said, you have amazing storytellers on that show to tell the story. So crossing our fingers for that for you and everybody else on the show. Um, One of the things I thought was also cool about the show is that you guys filmed this primarily in the Dominican Republic.
yeah. As far as I know, we shot the whole thing in the DR.
So the
Yeah,
whole thing, there was no other, everything was shot in DR.
as far as I know, yeah. There
Okay.
be like a few minor scenes that were shot outside of DR, but I don't know about that. As far as I know, everything was shot in the Dominican Republic.
Oh my gosh, how is that? Because I personally have never been to DR in yet.
Oh man,
That
you're
is a
missing
goal.
out.
That is a goal. That is a goal.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say who may or may not have invited me to go to DR if there is a season two pickup, but there was someone on the show that said that.
Okay.
Granted, if any of you watched the interview, you already heard who it was.
Okay. 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 I won't say anything. I'll keep that as an Easter egg for the viewers.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So I
Okay.
said, you know what? If that is the case, I'll totally go when there's a season to pick up and I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll
Absolutely.
be there. That will be a great first experience. But literally, how beautiful is it? How great is it?
Hey, it's the Dominican Republic. It's a tropical paradise. I
Fair
mean,
enough.
as an actor, usually when we get to fly out to work somewhere, it's usually a treat. But to get flown out to the tropical paradise that is the Dominican Republic
Mhm.
for 4 months, you know what I'm saying? With the creative team, the same creative team as Narcos and The Godfather,
Yeah,
and having an international cast and crew. I mean, what more could you want, man?
that's
Like,
true.
it's a dream. It's so many boxes are checked off within that experience. Not to mention, I'm sure you were told we shot this during the first part of the strike,
Yes, I was. Yep.
the writer's strike, and then when SAG went on strike, we had to shut down, of course, because the leads are SAG. but we were still working during the strike, so we had that bit of security. And then we knew that when the strike was over, we knew that we would come back and still have a job. So all those things, just dream experience, life highlight and career highlight as well.
That was when we talked about that when I was initially at ATX with the cast and crew of the show. And as you just said, that was mentioned and it was brought up. One of my things that I was worried about with it, especially when the strikes happen on both sides with the writers and actors, because we've seen this with multiple shows, the strikes affected them to the point where they actually either did not make it off the cutting room floor or they wound up getting canceled because of the strikes. And that was one of my biggest flexes about this at the time when they told me the story. And I asked them, did they think that that was going to be a possibility if we weren't going to have hotel cocaine see the light of day, basically? And everybody in unison said no, they were not worried about it at all because they had such strong writers, a strong creator in Chris, an executive producer, Maurice, and just the talent that's on the show, and Guillermo Navarro being a part of it as well. Like they trusted this work, this body of work, and that's why they were never hesitant on the fact of we weren't going to see the light of day. They literally were like, this is going to happen. It's going to get the green light. Everybody's going to see it. And I was very happy to see that. And also people are responding to it very well. So I'm just glad to see that aspect of the show. So um but since the comment was brought up about how it was done during the strike and then they had to come back after the strike, there was a comment I just read. Well, maybe
Mm,
just yet, not just read, but maybe it was yesterday.
tell me about it. Tell
You
me
know,
about
you
it.
know, there was a comment that there was an interview that I did, as I mentioned, with Chris and Maurice,
Mm,
and there was a comment that he made about there was an actor. It seemed like their physical appearance may have differed upon return, but I then decided to check this actor's Instagram,
okay, okay.
and there was a comment that I saw that this actor went to a premiere where this actor literally put in his caption, no one recognized him when he showed up on the red carpet. And he's like, I wonder why.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder who that could be. I
Who
wonder why.
who was that? And I'm not, I mean, it just seems like the name is on the tip of my tongue. I feel like it is Ron Pike, maybe?
Ron Pike. Or
Hmm.
maybe it rhymes with Ron Pike.
It might rhyme with Ron Pike.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Who could it be? Ron Pike. Who could it
I
be?
I don't know. It seems I feel like he has an afro. Uh,
Mm, okay.
it's just it looked like he was wearing he might have been in a maroon outfit at the Hotel Cocaine premiere. I think it was maroon or something to that nature. But
Little burgundy action.
a burgundy accent is a good one, yes, because I
Mhm,
have that same color suit. That's the only reason I know. Uh,
mhm.
but I think I may be talking to him right now.
Oh, oh, oh. Right. I got the off burgundy today. You know what I mean?
Off burgundies on
Off
today.
burgundy. A little brown action going on.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it. So,
Cat's out the
yeah, what
bag.
about that?
Cat's out the bag. Let's get to it.
So, what? I was like, when you said that to me, and I was going, wait, he was talking about you? So, what was different? I mean, I'm just like going like, what is he saying?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Nah, I was out there in the DR, man. I was, I because I don't have a huge part in the show, I had a lot of time off. So the gym was right there. I was going to the gym a lot. We're by the beach. I wanna make sure that I look good.
You wanted to make
Um,
sure if you had to have the shirt off, you wanted to make sure it was worthy of having the shirt off. I get it.
yeah, yeah.
I get it.
Everybody around me is looking good, whether it's on set, whether it's just walking around, the beautiful island that is the DR. And look, I wanted to look like a little snack too. I wanted to get my snack on. So, I
I
had to.
literally said this to myself. I was like, I have 3 weeks before I leave for San Diego for Comic-Con, and I'm going like, I no, I need to do something before I get out there, especially since I'm staying at the hotel by the marina. I was like, yeah, we need to do something real quick about that. So
That's
I
right.
get that. I get that part.
Tighten things up a little bit. No, I was dropping weight a little bit when I was out there, and I kind of felt bad for the costumes department because like every time I would come in, like they had to redo all my
They had to
outfits.
redo all of the outfits.
Yeah, because I was dropping a lot when I was out there. And then shout out to Adela Cortazar. She did a lot of the costumes. She worked also
Yes.
on Del Chapo series on Netflix. So yeah, but when I came back home from the strike, I had a lot of time, and you know, just of course being in a caloric district restriction and a lot of walking helped a lot with it. So yeah, by the time I came back, you know, after 3 months, everybody was like, "Wait, who? Oh, it's Don. Hey, Don." It's a whole different vibe, a whole different aesthetic.
Everybody literally just looked at you going like, "Who's that? Like, who did we
Yeah,
hire a new guy?"
pretty much.
I mean, like if you had that at Hotel Cocaine, and then you also were at a movie premiere, and everybody was saying that about you too, like that says a lot.
Even at the LA premiere too for Hotel Cocaine, like there was some of the producers, some of the MGM folks, you know, I had to reintroduce myself because yeah,
So
yeah,
even okay, so now the timeline is just oh my gosh. So then you had the movie premiere. There was noticing your difference there. Then it gets mentioned at ATX TV Festival by Chris about your appearance. Then you had the premiere a week after that, and now everybody's seeing you and they're going, who did we invite? who
yeah,
who is this plus one that we don't know about? And
right.
I just think that's absolutely hilarious that it's just they had no idea it was you and you had to basically reintroduce yourself as if you
Yeah.
were Olivia Pope or somebody. So
Right. I'm showing up to the premiere like, no, it's still me. Like I'm still in this. That guy's me. I
did
know.
they not recognize your voice? Like as soon as you started speaking, did they not go, wait, say that again?
Right.
That's why I'm going like, wait. So not only did your appearance change, but so did your voice.
Yeah, it happened. It comes with the
Apparently.
territory.
That's hilarious. I can't believe that you picked out that nugget of that interview and then brought it to my attention so we can talk about it here. I think that's one of the best things that's ever happened here on this show.
Glad to be the first. Glad to be the first. Had to
You
do it.
have to be the first. You have to be the first. I mean, and let me and like I reiterated at the beginning of this, this show's just it's definitely different than what I've ever seen on any show that I have watched, and I know that it does take on the persona of Maurice's father, but obviously we embellish some parts of the show obviously for dramatic effect. You know, Roman did not have a brother in real life, so we get to see that with Yule and as Nestor Cabal, and you know, I also said that he probably is Bob from Seinfeld in another life. You know, if you ever.
Yeah, right. Maybe.
I mean, listen, I literally came across those scenes maybe a month before I talked to him, and I literally just looked at it and I watched I watched the show, and when I got it ahead, and I said, "Oh yeah, you're totally Bob in another life, totally Bob in another life." But it's just for me, just it's just seeing these relationships and seeing Mark's character as Burton being the levity of the show and just the maturity, the sexiness, the drug cartels and everything like that. It's just when you do shows like this, especially when they're this type of heavy in the seriousness aspect of it, when you get to have that opportunity to bring levity to the table, it's definitely different than what you see in most shows because you don't really get that. And your show brings that to the forefront. You know, there's so many witty lines that are said by a lot of these actors, even though when they're trying to be serious, but it's to me, and when I hear it, I just start chuckling because it's hilarious to me. So I love the fact that they're able to incorporate humor into the show, and like I said, the cast and crew of everybody, it just it makes it worth watching. It makes it worth watching the series, and I'm very happy to see that it's getting the recognition that it should be getting. So, and I'm glad that you are a part of that as Omar. And like we said, I hope that they get to explore your story more going forward. Um, One thing I definitely wanted to ask you as well is getting into this world of the acting bug. Like you were in an episode of one of the Arrowverse shows. Just being a part of this field, how did you get into that? Your backstory getting into the acting realm, and I look at it and I always tell with actors, I'm going like, God bless you because it's such a tough medium. It's so hard, but I respect all the work that you do. So how did you get involved in this world?
Yes, it is difficult indeed. A lot of people think it's easy, and they think that they have personality, and they're a little funny. They can get into it. For me, it started with I was an aspiring music producer. So I always say, yes, film is difficult, but music is a whole different ballgame. Like at
Yeah,
least film and TV, you have unions, you have certain regulatory bodies to make sure people are compensated, to make sure people are taken care of, to make sure people are not taken advantage of when it comes to contracts and things of that nature. But in music, it's kind of still the wild, wild west, especially with the switch from CD to MP3 to now streaming. You
right.
know, those transitions. It's been it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. So I was pursuing, I was trying to be a producer. I was on Fruity Loops, cooking out, getting my, making beats, trying to be like Swizzy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
of
um,
course.
be Timbo, Boy Wonder, T Minus, the whole nine. And things were stagnant. I wasn't happy with, like I said, the way contracts were being done and things of that nature. So at this time, I was in college, and I find myself taking filmmaking classes as an elective just to pursue like a different creative outlet outside of
Mhm.
music. And then this coincided with the rise of streaming, and there was a lot
Okay.
more faces on TV. Notably, Insecure was like about to blow up, and
Oh,
Atlanta
yes.
at its moment. That wave that Blackish was rising, and Empire was already doing big. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, I see us, I see me, I see you. People like
Hmm.
you and me, and in some cases, people like you and me were making our stories. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, so there's a certain level of authenticity that was going to be infused with those projects if
Yeah.
we are telling our stories, right? On some FUBU type of vibe. So I was like, okay, I'm already taking these classes behind the scenes of how to make films. Let me shoot my shot and let me throw my hat in the race.
Yeah.
Worst thing comes to worst, nothing will happen. But at least now there's more opportunity than, 10, 15, 20 years ago.
I completely agree with this. I did like an op-ed on my website about diversity in television, primarily in the soap opera genre, because I know a lot of people in that genre. I love that genre. I watch that genre every day, and they talk about the fact that we want to include diversity in our shows, but yet where is it? We're really not seeing it. You have these diverse actors on your show, but why are you not utilizing them to the best of their talents and their abilities, whether it's in front of the camera or behind the camera? And that's been one of the biggest topics that has been prevalent on this show, outside of the show, for the past, I'm putting myself in the spot here with Matt, 15 years. And there was a show in particular where I had an actor on my podcast that literally said we had no black writers, we don't have any black directors. When you speak about authenticity when it comes to us with the people of color, and we're not getting that, we weren't getting that representation for a little while, and then, as you just put it out, we got these shows within the last 10 years with Empire and Power and Blackish and Grownish, and just seeing that we have these shows with black leads and getting to tell our story and their story. It was very refreshing to see that we were able to put the pen and paper and bring it to the screen and be widely received and accepted. And somehow I feel like that's going back into the reverse again.
Yeah.
And we're not getting that representation that we are striving for and that we have strived for. And just hearing you talk about that and hearing that from you too, especially from my point of view and when I had it, a few weeks ago, it's very refreshing to know that this is something that is very evident to not just myself, but to everyone else as well. That we're not getting the chance to tell our story, and we have the outlet to be able to do that. But why are we not getting that focus? Is basically what I want to say.
Mhm.
Food for thought.
Yeah,
Food for thought.
yeah.
And I just want to just comment again about the shows that you even mentioned. I mean, I watched those shows religiously when they came out, religiously. And then we had, again, math in my head, 85, 84, 85. The Cosby Show came out, and that really set the bar because then we got A Different World from that. And then we had the UPN, where the UPN network was literally showcasing a lot of those shows, showing us. And when the Girlfriends came on the scene, when the Game came on the scene, and Malcolm and Eddie,
17.
everything, like literally, we had something that we were able to have our material be told. And then that got taken away, and then we didn't have that. And then a few years later, then the Powers, and then the Empires, and then everything else started coming out, the Grownishes, and then the Blackishes and everything like that. Then we had that for a hot minute, and then now that's gone. Now we're back at square one. What's going to be the next big thing for us? And there's just there, as you just said, throw your hat into the ring and tell that story. And I'm glad you did, but there's definitely also more to be told, not just in front, but also behind. Because I just feel like we don't even have a lot of people behind the camera that are showcasing us. You know what I mean? That are not us. And I feel like we need more of us behind the camera as well, leading the charge. That's just me.
Absolutely, yes. In those executive positions as well.
Absolutely. And we don't hear any stories about that. I mean, we hear about Ava DuVernay, but we don't who else do we hear about that are in these type of roles and these types of positions? We don't necessarily get we don't have let's not even say get. We don't have that opportunity to hear about them. That's the better way of saying it. We don't have that. And I feel like we work our asses off to get to where we are. And I feel like that's why are we not getting that recognition that we so are deserving of. So sorry for getting on my soapbox, guys, but this is
I know,
definitely
it's not
it's
good.
definitely a topic that means a lot to me. I know that it hasn't been one that I haven't talked about in the last 10 years, but when I started seeing more of things coming out of the woodwork where social media could be, while it can be good for you, it also could be detrimental for you because you have people coming out being very vulgar with their responses to people, especially to people of color, and what they're seeing with that. And then when I'm coming across actors and actresses being bullied because of the color of their skin from these people behind the computer screen, it just really made me sit back and think, oh my gosh, we need the voices to speak up. We need somebody to speak up. And for me, saying this now publicly like this on my platform, even though I did it on my platform, but saying it now in this connotation with the video, I apologize again how it took me this long to really say this again, but it needed to be said. It needs to be brought up, and we need that representation. We also need that support for us as well. And if we're not reciprocating that, I mean, we support these people every day by watching their shows. I watch you, I watch everybody that's doing this show. And mind you, this show Hotel Cocaine also has people of color, not just with us, but you have people of color in with the Latina community that's a part of the show. And just supporting these people, but yet we're not doing what we need to do to support our community in this regard. I mean, I feel like that's half-assed to me, and that's why I apologize for the fact that I hadn't done that in such a long time. But then getting your eyes open to what you're seeing from everybody that's not receptive to us, it really did put a lot of things in perspective. So I was glad to get to say this to that piece of the conversation of what you just said. So I wanted to say that. I was proud to say that, and I was glad to say that.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. And thank you for coming here and spending your time with me and talking about the show and how you got into the acting field. And I'm looking forward to seeing what comes up with the rest of Hotel Cocaine, and episode 4 premieres this Sunday. So make sure you guys remember there was a time switch. If you want to watch it when it drops, it did drop for the first 2 episodes at 10 o'clock on Sundays. It's now dropping at 9 o'clock on Sundays. So now it's an hour earlier. So make sure you guys check that out. And obviously, after it drops, you have pretty much an entire week to watch the show. But if you want to catch it on Sundays, it's now dropping at 9 o'clock on MGM Plus. And I think it's 8 episodes this entire season. So we got 5 more eps to go. So after episode 4, I'm gonna be with everybody. I don't know what happens after episode 4, so I'm gonna be on the ride with y'all. So I'm kind of excited to see what happens after ep 4.
Me too. Me
So
too. I want to see the whole run. It's gonna
I
be
I'm gonna see the whole run, and I will definitely make sure I comment on the episodes I have not seen yet. So I'm looking forward to going through 5 through 8 with all of y'all with a fresh set of eyes. So I'm excited for that. So um, keep fingers crossed that we hear that it's going to be picked up for a second season. I would love that, obviously for selfish reasons, but obviously for selfish reasons, but also because I want y'all guys to work. But but of course. But I'm very excited to see what's ahead for you guys. So thank you so much, Don, Mike, for stopping by.
as well.
Let's do this again.
Hey, let's do this again. Either in DR or on Zoom, whatever works.
You know what? Let's say this. When it gets picked up,
Yes.
DR.
Yes.
There it
Yes.
is.
DR 2024.
That's right.
It
Knock it
happened.
down. It's gonna happen.
All
Pleasure.
right.
Absolutely. Many thanks to Don Mike for stopping by the BUZZCast today, and you can catch Hotel Cocaine every Sunday when it drops a new episode at 9 p.m. on MGM Plus. But that's going to do it for me for right now. I'm Novell J. Lee, and we're going to continue Hotel Cocaine Week tomorrow when Ernie Baez stops by the show, and we got a surprise guest this Friday. We're not going to reveal who that is yet, but expect that to be dropped this week. For more information on our show, you can always log onto our website at buzzworthyradiocast.com. You can also follow us on X at buzzworthyradio and liking us on our Facebook page. We're also on Instagram at buzznav and at buzzworthyradio. And finally, you can download our podcast as an audio show on Amazon Music and iHeartRadio. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.